Chapter 3750. A middle-aged man stepped out and faced Lu Ming directly. A powerful aura spread out and pressed down on Lu Ming. Quasi-Emperor. This was a quasi-Emperor realm expert. He wanted to challenge Lu Ming. Liu Qiong, you're an elder. How can you fight with a junior? Sect leader Wang frowned and scolded lightly. The strength that Lu Ming displayed just now had already made him want to recruit him, so he stopped him. However, he didn't stop him too much. In fact, he also wanted to see if Lu Ming really had the battle strength of a quasi-emperor. Sect leader, little brother Mu Yun can defeat a quasi-emperor. This disciple is really curious and wants to exchange pointers with little brother Mu Yun. I have no other intention. Please grant my wish. Liu Qiong bowed and said. Little brother Mu Yun, this, sect leader Wang looked at Lu Ming with a troubled expression. It's fine. Make your move. Lu Ming replied. This person challenging him was exactly what he wanted. In this way, the Fengdu sword sect would pay more attention to him. Lu Ming's straightforwardness stunned sect leader Wang, Liu Qiong, and the others. Lu Ming was so confident. Could it be that he really had the battle strength that Han Xiling said? But how was that possible? It was already a miracle that Lu Ming could defeat Wang Zhongke so easily. Could it be that a fifth-layer divine lord could really defeat a quasi-emperor? Impossible. Liu Qiong shook his head hard in his heart. He had walked all the way from the fifth-layer divine lord to the quasi-emperor. He knew the gap between two realms. It was simply a fool's dream to cross this gap. Then don't go too far. Don't hurt the harmony, sect leader Wang said. Don't worry, sect leader, Liu Qiong replied. His eyes flashed, and he took a step on the ground. His body was like a mountain, rushing toward Lu Ming. With a punch, the space shattered like a rag. The violent power swept toward Lu Ming like a storm. He had promised sect leader Wang not to overdo it, but once he attacked, he went all out. He secretly had a very good relationship with Wang Zhongke. It could be said that he was one of Wang Zhongke's people. Just now, Wang Zhongke had been so miserably abused by Lu Ming. He definitely wanted to avenge Wang Zhongke. Therefore, he took the initiative to challenge Lu Ming, a junior, as a quasi-emperor. The violent power shook the heavens and the earth, causing the world to tremble. Cripple him. Cripple him. Cripple this bastard. At this moment, Wang Zhongke had barely recovered. He glared at Lu Ming with hatred in his eyes, hoping that Lu Ming would be suppressed or even crippled by Liu Qiong. A ray of divine light involuntarily appeared on sect leader Wang's palm. He was ready to make a move. If the situation went south, he would save Lu Ming. Lu Ming was very strong. At the very least, among the younger generation of the Feng City sword sect, there was only one person who could compare to Lu Ming. He couldn't let Lu Ming be crippled by Liu Qiong. Just at this moment, Lu Ming attacked. He threw a punch at Liu Qiong's fist. Boom! The sky shook and space exploded. The terrifying fist pressure was even more terrifying than Liu Qiong's. This, sect leader Wang and the others couldn't help but widen their eyes. When an expert attacked, it was easy to tell whether or not he was an expert. The two of them hadn't even officially exchanged blows, but sect leader Wang and the other elders of the Feng City sword sect could see that Lu Ming's fist was too terrifying. Not good. Liu Qiong's expression wildly changed, and his heart began to pound. He felt a terrifying fist pressure coming at him. It was terrifying to the extreme. It wasn't something he could resist. But it was too late to change his attack now. In this situation, if he changed his attack, he would face Lu Ming's barrage of attacks. He would definitely lose. In this situation, he could only brace himself. Liu Qiong roared angrily and used every bit of strength in his body to blast out along with the power of the fist. Boom! Their fists finally collided. It was as if two planets had collided, and then an explosion occurred. A terrifying qi swept in all directions, as if it was going to swallow the entire mountain. But sect leader Wang waved his hand and a strength swept across the mountain like a spring breeze. Wherever it passed, the qi generated by the collision between Lu Ming and Liu Qiong was silently blocked. How strong! Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. Sect leader Wang wasn't an ordinary godly emperor. His cultivation level was definitely above the first godly emperor layer. He was extremely strong. Even if Lu Ming used his full strength and Qiu Qiu used his full strength, they wouldn't be able to compete with him. Ah! Liu Qiong gave a horrible shriek, and then his bones were broken. He was sent flying backwards, just like Wang Zhangke. He fell to the ground and coughed up blood. One of his arms had been completely broken, and was hanging down weakly. Liu Qiong, a quasi-emperor, had been killed in one attack. The entire place was silent. Everyone was looking at Lu Ming in a daze. Lu Ming had actually defeated a quasi-emperor. Moreover, it was an instant kill. He was only a fifth godly monarch layer. A fifth godly monarch layer had such fighting strength. This was too incredible. It turned out that what Han Xiling had said before was true. Now, no one doubted what Han Xiling had said because the truth was right in front of them. No, this can't be true. I must be dreaming. Yes, I must be dreaming. Wang Zhangke shook his head blankly. He couldn't accept this fact. He would rather believe that he was dreaming. But a gust of wind blew, and a sharp pain came from his wound. This told him that this was real. This wasn't a dream. Why? Why is this happening? Wang Zhangke roared in his heart. He couldn't accept it, especially what he had just said. A fifth godly monarch layer can kill a quasi-emperor? And it's so easy. Do you think we're fools? Do you think the sect master and the elders are fools? The words he had just said were still ringing in his ears, but at this moment, they were like slaps to his face. Just now, he had mocked Lu Ming and doubted Lu Ming. He had said that Han Xiling and Lu Ming had an affair and deliberately praised Lu Ming. It turned out that everything was just his own wishful thinking. And everything Han Xiling had said was the truth. Lu Ming was indeed a monstrous genius. He had killed a quasi-emperor as a fifth-level godly monarch. The truth just now was right in front of them. Lu Ming had defeated Liu Qiong with one punch. If he continued to attack, Liu Qiong would definitely die. In fact, they didn't know that Lu Ming had already shown mercy just now. Otherwise, Liu Qiong would have died with one punch. Amazing, amazing. At this moment, Sect Master Wang muttered to himself. He was so excited that he was about to tremble. With Lu Ming's combat strength, if he helped them fight in the Resource Alliance, the help would definitely be amazing. He could help the Fengdu Sword sect to obtain better resources. In every Resource Alliance in the past, the Fengdu Sword sect had always been ranked in the bottom 5 among the 18 forces in the Iron Sea Star Zone group. They had never rushed into the top 10. If they had Lu Ming's help, they might be able to rush into the top 10 and create history for the Fengdu Sword sect. They had to keep Lu Ming at all costs. Sect Master Wang's eyes lit up. He had made up his mind. Chapter 3751. The Resource Alliance between the 18 forces in the Iron Sea Star region was based on strength. The stronger one was, the higher one's ranking in the Resource Alliance would be, and the better resources one could obtain. And the better resources one had, the stronger one's sect would be. This would form a positive cycle, and in the next Resource Alliance, one would achieve better results and obtain better resources. And the weaker forces would fall into a vicious cycle, becoming weaker and weaker. Therefore, Lu Ming was too important to the Plentiful City Sword sect. Ha ha ha, this old man has cultivated for dozens of years and has seen countless geniuses in my life. But today, I finally see what a real genius is, what a real hero is. Little brother Mu Yun's talent is really something this old man has never seen before. Sect leader Wang laughed, full of praise, and eased the atmosphere at the same time. Sect leader Wang is too polite. Lu Ming clasped his fists. Come. Little brother Mu Yun has done a great favor for the Plentiful City Sword sect. This seat will set up a banquet to welcome little brother Mu Yun, sect leader Wang said. He kept calling him little brother in a very affectionate manner. No need. This junior still has important matters to attend to, so I will take my leave now, Lu Ming said. Brother Mu, you're leaving now? Han Xiling said anxiously. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. Brother Mu, you don't have to care about some people. Han Xiling glared at Wang Zhangke anxiously. When Lu Ming came with her, he did not say that he was leaving. But now, he said that he had important matters to attend to, which was clearly an excuse. In fact, he was unhappy. In fact, she did not know that Lu Ming did not want to leave. He was retreating in order to advance, so that he could make a request for himself. Little brother Mu Yun, why are you leaving so soon? If there's anything important, tell me. I will do my best to help. Sect leader Wang said hurriedly, also a little anxious. What a joke, such a genius had finally arrived. If he let Lu Ming leave just like that, wouldn't he vomit blood? This junior indeed has something to attend to. I can't stay for long. Lu Ming still shook his head, clasped his fists, and was about to leave. Wait a moment, little brother Mu Yun, wait a moment. Sect leader Wang blurted out. He then clenched his teeth and said, Brother Mu Yun, I actually have a favor to ask of you. I hope you'll agree to it. Seeing that Lu Ming was about to leave, sect leader Wang didn't hide it any longer and hurriedly spoke of his purpose. You want my help? Sect master Wang must be joking. This junior only has the cultivation of a 5th-level divine lord. The number of divine sovereigns in Plentiful City Sword Sect is not small. Why does this junior need to help? Lu Ming was delighted, but he didn't show it on his face. He asked the obvious and pretended to be ignorant. Little brother Mu Yun, do you know about the Resource Alliance Agreement of the Iron Sea Star Zone Group? Chief Wang said. I've heard of it. Lu Ming said. It's like this. Little brother Mu Yun's talent is unparalleled. The Plentiful City Sword Sect would like to invite little brother Mu Yun to become the external aid of the Plentiful City Sword Sect and help the Plentiful City Sword Sect participate in the Resource Alliance. Of course, no matter what the ranking is, the Plentiful City Sword Sect will give a generous reward. We will not disappoint, little brother, Chief Wang said. So it's the Resource Alliance Agreement. Lu Ming nodded and frowned, looking like he was thinking. Chief Wang and the rest were nervously waiting for Lu Ming's answer, hoping that Lu Ming would agree. Participating in the Resource Alliance Agreement wasn't something that could be done by force. Lu Ming had to agree to it himself. Otherwise, it would be useless to force him. Moreover, they didn't dare to force Lu Ming. Lu Ming's talent, Lu Ming's battle strength, were simply abnormally strong. How could such a monster be nurtured by an ordinary force? They suspected that Lu Ming came from a terrifying force and was out on a trip to temper himself. If they dared to force Lu Ming, the Plentiful City Sword Sect wouldn't need to exist anymore. Lu Ming pretended to think for a while and said, originally, for Miss Ziling's sake, I wanted to help the Plentiful City Sword Sect with this favor. These words made Chief Wang and the rest's eyes light up. They glanced at Han Ziling and revealed a look of understanding. They thought that Lu Ming had taken a fancy to Han Ziling. Han Ziling's face was also slightly red, which made her even more beautiful. However, there seems to be someone in the Plentiful City Sword Sect who doesn't welcome me. If I stay here, wouldn't I be looking for trouble? Lu Ming said, as if he was referring to something. Everyone could tell that Lu Ming was talking about Wang Zhangke and Liu Qiong. Wang Zhangke's face turned into the color of pig liver. Sect leader Wang and the others naturally understood. Little brother, some people in the Plentiful City Sword Sect have eyes but fail to see. I'll let them apologize to you. As he said that, Chief Wang's gaze looked at Wang Zhangke and Liu Qiong, and scolded, you too, why aren't you apologizing to little brother Mu Yun? Chief, Wang Zhangke's expression was extremely ugly as he looked at Chief Wang in a daze. Previously, he was constantly mocking Lu Ming, despising Lu Ming, and then provoking Lu Ming. He was suppressed by Lu Ming in one move, and he had already lost all his face. Now, he actually had to apologize to Lu Ming. This was simply more uncomfortable than killing him. He was about to vomit blood and was extremely sullen. Why aren't you apologizing to little brother Mu Yun? Do you want me to invite you? Chief Wang's tone became heavier, and a trace of cold light flashed in his eyes. Wang Zhangke and Liu Qiong's hearts trembled. Obviously, Chief Wang was already angry, and they did not dare to disobey Chief Wang. In the end, they could only grit their teeth and cupped their fists to Lu Ming, saying, we were blind just now, please forgive us. Is this the attitude of apologizing? Lu Ming said indifferently, obviously dissatisfied. Wang Zhengke's teeth were about to shatter. However, seeing Chief Wang's sharp gaze, he did not dare to refute. Plop. Liu Qiong was very straightforward. He directly knelt down and kowtowed to Lu Ming, asking for Lu Ming's forgiveness. This attitude is not bad, what about you? Lu Ming looked at Wang Zhengke. Ah! Wang Zhengke roared crazily in his heart. He was so sullen that he was about to explode. He could not wait to explode and go all out to scold Lu Ming and Chief Wang. However, in the end, he still did not dare to. Plop. In the end, he knelt down in humiliation and apologized to Lu Ming. That's more like it. Lu Ming nodded lightly, then looked at Chief Wang and said, Chief Wang, it's not impossible for me to help Fengju Sword Sect, but I have a condition. What condition, little brother? Just say it. Chief Wang said. There are too many people, let's talk somewhere else. Lu Ming said. Chief Wang nodded and let Wang Zhengke and the others leave. After a while, only sect leader Wang, two of sect leader Wang's trusted elders, Han Xiling, and Lu Ming were left in the main hall. Little brother, what condition do you have? You can say it now, I promise not to spread it. Chief Wang said. I need a new identity, a complete identity. Lu Ming said his condition. Chapter 3752. A new identity. Sect leader Wang and the others were stunned. What kind of condition was this? I want to become a heavenly soldier of the heavenly palace. But if I become a heavenly soldier, the heavenly soldiers will investigate this person's background. But since I was born, I have been training in a secret place. This time, I have just been born. You can say that my past is blank. I'm afraid that I can't pass the heavenly palace's investigation. So I need a new identity, Lu Ming explained. I see. Sect leader Wang and the others nodded. They could understand what Lu Ming said. The heavenly palace's investigation of the heavenly soldiers was very strict. Lu Ming had never been born before. This was his first time. His past was a blank piece of paper. It would be troublesome to become a heavenly soldier. That was why Lu Ming wanted a new identity. Moreover, with Lu Ming's talent, they did not doubt that Lu Ming could succeed. If Lu Ming could not succeed with his talent, how many people in the Eldritch universe could succeed? However, it would be troublesome to give Lu Ming a new identity. There were many disciples in the Fengju Sword Sect. Many of them died outside every year. They could casually find a disciple who had died and let Lu Ming become that disciple. However, everyone's life origin aura was different. If they let Lu Ming pretend to be a person, that person's friends and family would know that Lu Ming was a fake. The Heavenly Palace could easily find out. They frowned and pondered. Moreover, this was a very risky matter. If the Heavenly Palace found out about this, the Fengju Sword Sect would be in big trouble. Deceiving the Heavenly Palace was a serious crime. However, the Resource Alliance this time was too important. Lu Ming's strength was too tempting. It would be a pity to give up on Lu Ming. Lu Ming also understood this. That was why he showed his strength to make the Fengju Sword Sect reluctant. I have an idea. At this moment, an elder on the side spoke. This elder's name was Chen Tong. What idea? Sect leader Wang and Lu Ming's eyes lit up. I know that there is an outer disciple in the sect. Coincidentally, this outer disciple's name is Mu Yun. This Mu Yun is not very talented. He is a coward and low-key. Not many people know him. Some time ago, this Mu Yun went out to train and hasn't returned since. It's likely that he died outside. I'm sure no one will know that little brother Mu Yun has taken over this identity. Chen Tong said. They discussed for a while and came to an agreement. Let Lu Ming become the Fengju Sword Sect's outer disciple, Mu Yun. Chen Tonghui showed Lu Ming the information of Mu Yun's past to reduce the number of flaws on Lu Ming. Lu Ming agreed to help the Fengju Sword Sect participate in the Resource Alliance. He would do his best. Little brother Mu Yun, I'll bring you to the place where Mu Yun lives, Chen Tong said. Lu Ming nodded. Since he was going to pretend, he had to make it look real. Lu Ming followed Chen Tong and left the place. They flew to other places on Fengju Star. Fengju Star was huge. The entire Fengju Star was the headquarters of the Fengju Sword sect. However, there was a difference between prosperous and not. Soon, they arrived at the other side of Fengju Star. In front of them was a small sword-shaped mountain. It was incomparable to the sword-shaped mountain from before. On the sword-shaped mountain, there was a small courtyard. The two of them landed in the courtyard. This is where Mu Yun lives and cultivates. That Mu Yun is cowardly. His talent is not high and he doesn't get along with others. He cultivates here all year round. Very few people in the Fengju Sword sect know about him, Chen Tong introduced. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded with satisfaction. The more low-key Mu Yun was, the more advantageous it was for him now. Little brother, you can stay here. I'll sort out the information on Mu Yun for you. Also, in half a year's time, it will be the Resource Alliance, Chen Tong said. Lu Ming nodded. Then, Chen Tong left. Sigh, I wonder when the Heavenly Palace will start recruiting heavenly soldiers. Lu Ming sighed. Previously, he had asked sect leader Wang and the others this question. Sect leader Wang and the others could not answer. Because the Heavenly Palace did not have a fixed time to recruit heavenly soldiers. Other than the Heavenly Palace, no one knew when the Heavenly Palace would recruit heavenly soldiers next. Lu Ming was helpless. Right now, he could only create a new identity and cultivate while he waited. Lu Ming stayed here. With a wave of his hand, jade talismans appeared one after another. These jade talismans were obtained by Lu Ming from the ruins of the Qianyu Kingdom. He had obtained a lot of treasures from the last treasure trove. Each jade talisman recorded a secret technique. There were hundreds of secret techniques here. Lu Ming looked through them one by one. Chilling wind extinction, I haven't cultivated it before. Heart destruction palm, I've cultivated it before. Pleasure technique, I haven't cultivated it before. Lu Ming looked through them one by one and selected the secret techniques that he had cultivated before. A day later, hundreds of secret techniques were selected. There were a total of 210 secret techniques that Lu Ming had not cultivated before. There were all kinds of secret techniques. Some of them were of little value and did not have much use. However, Lu Ming did not reject any of them and planned to cultivate them all. No matter what kind of secret technique it was, the more the better. Lu Ming began to cultivate the secret techniques. One by one, the secret techniques turned into secret technique runes and were integrated into Lu Ming's cells. Half a month later, Chen Tong brought back the previous information of Yun Mu. Lu Ming memorized it all and felt more confident. Then, he continued to cultivate the secret techniques. Another half a month later, Han Xiling found Lu Ming. Brother Mu, our Fengju Sword sect is preparing to send people to plunder the resources of other forces. Are you interested? Han Xiling asked. Plunder the resources of other forces? What resources? Lu Ming's heart stirred as he asked. All kinds of resources, metal mines, divine herb fields, jade mines, etc. Anything is fine, Han Xiling said. As the Resource Alliance approached, the major forces began to plunder resources more frequently and more fiercely. The Fengju Sword sect naturally would not passively take a beating. They would also send experts to plunder the resources of other forces. Han Xiling immediately thought of Lu Ming. Under the Divine Emperor realm, Lu Ming's battle strength was absolutely unparalleled. With Lu Ming joining, the plundering would be very smooth. Chapter 3753. Alright, but I need a metal resource mine, Lu Ming said. Chocho's cultivation and evolution were inseparable from metal-type materials. Most of the divine weapons were also made of metal-type materials. Although Lu Ming had obtained a large number of divine weapons in the Skypass Divine Nation, who would complain about having more resources? With Chocho's appetite, those divine weapons might not be able to last long. Therefore, the more metal-type materials, the better. Immediately, Lu Ming followed Han Xiling and headed towards the headquarters of the Fengju Sword sect. Brother Mu, you can wear this robe. On the way, Han Xiling gave Lu Ming a robe. Lu Ming put it on and completely wrapped himself in the robe. Then, Lu Ming restrained his aura. The forbidden energy was hidden in every cell in his body. The others could not figure out his specific cultivation. The forbidden energy was dispersed in every cell. As long as Lu Ming did not want others to find out his cultivation, no one would be able to, unless their cultivation was much higher. Soon, the two of them arrived at a large hall. The hall was very spacious. At this time, there were already hundreds of people there. Everyone was wrapped in black robes. Lu Ming and Han Xiling blended into the crowd and waited. After about half an hour, people came one after another. At this time, there were more than 500 people in the hall. All right, almost everyone is here. This time, our goal is the Purple Moon Divine Iron planet of the Black Blood Hall. We will rob them of their Purple Moon Divine Iron. Suddenly, a voice came from the crowd. One of the black-robed men took off his hood. It was an old man. This old man was a quasi-emperor level expert of the Fengdu sword sect. He was also a protector of the sect. The protectors of the Fengdu sword sect were all quasi-emperor level experts. As for the elders, they were all divine emperors. Yes, protector. The crowd responded. Let's go. The protector gave the order. The crowd flew out of the hall and came to the entrance of a wormhole. Reaching the level of Feng City sword sect, the use of wormholes was already quite mature. Wormholes were connected to different places, like railways, connecting different places together. Through the wormhole, they quickly left the Fengdu sword sect's territory and entered the Black Blood Hall's territory. The Black Blood Hall was quite powerful in the Iron Sea Star Zone group. Although they were not in the top 10, they were very close. They were ranked 11th in the Last Resource Alliance, which was much stronger than the Fengdu sword sect. However, the Black Blood Hall and the Plentiful City sword sect had been enemies for a long time, and the two forces often had conflicts. As the Resource Alliance approached, the friction between the two forces became even more intense. Plundering each other's resource planets was the most intense. Last time, the Black Blood Hall had sent a large number of experts to rob Planet Blood Jade. If Lu Ming had not appeared, Han Xiling and the others would have been in danger. This time, the Fengdu sword sect was going to plunder the Purple Moon Divine Metal planet of the Black Blood Hall. Of course, the Fengdu sword sect was not the only group that plundered the resource planets of the Black Blood Hall. In fact, there were 6 of them that plundered 6 different resource planets of the Black Blood Hall. They traveled stealthily through the remote starry skies. After some time, they finally arrived at the Purple Moon Star. The Purple Moon Star was a resource planet that had many Purple Moon Divine Metal mines. The Purple Moon Divine Metal was an important material for forging divine artifacts. A good amount of Purple Moon Divine Metal could even be used to forge an Emperor-grade divine artifact. It was an important source of income for the Black Blood Hall. In front of them, a purple planet was suspended in the air like a purple pearl. It was unusually beautiful. Wait a moment. We will find the place with the densest number of mines and break in. We will plunder the Purple Moon Divine Metal to our heart's content. The protector said. Many people's eyes were burning with passion. As long as they could plunder it, it would belong to them. Everyone secretly rubbed their palms, preparing for a big fight. On the Purple Moon Star, the spots with rich colors are the places with rich Purple Moon Divine Metal. Look over there. The purple color is especially rich. We will start from there. The protector pointed at a spot on the Purple Moon Star and said. Lu Ming looked over. Indeed, although the Purple Moon Star was purple, there were different shades of color. Some places were darker. The place that the protector pointed at was a spot with a rich color. Let's go. Following the protector's order, they turned into streaks of black light and rushed toward the Purple Moon Divine Metal planet at an astonishing speed. In just a dozen seconds, they had crossed hundreds of millions of miles and arrived on the surface of the Purple Moon Star. Enemy attack. Someone is plundering the Purple Moon Divine Metal. A loud roar reverberated in all directions. The surface of the Purple Moon Divine Metal planet was naturally patrolled by the experts of the Black Blood Hall. At this moment, a team of more than a dozen people had discovered the people of the Fengdu sword sect. They shouted and spread the news. No one cared. It was normal for them to be discovered. They were plundering, not stealing. Kill. The protector roared and took the lead to attack. Retreat, retreat. The people of the Black Blood Hall did not dare to stop Lu Ming and the others. They frantically flew toward the purple moon star. However, it was too late. The quasi-emperors were too fast. In a few flashes, they had caught up with the people of the Black Blood Hall. Clang. The sound of swords rang out. More than a dozen sword lights burst out from the protector's hands, illuminating the starry sky. The people of the Black Blood Hall were directly killed by the sword lights. Charge! The protector roared. He led the people of the Fengdu sword sect and charged toward the biggest spot of light. When they got closer, they realized that the huge spot of light was a purple mountain range. The purple mountain range was connected. It was very vast and one could not see the end of it. Below the purple mountain range was the purple moon divine metal. Someone is plundering. Defend. Figures flashed in the purple mountain range. The black blood experts guarding this place had gathered together. There were a few hundred of them, but they were fewer than the people of the Fengdu sword sect. There were only about 300 of them. Charge! The protector roared and took the lead to attack. The others followed suit. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Before they arrived, dazzling sword lights burst out. In an instant, more than 500 sword lights slashed toward the people of the Black Blood Hall. It is indeed the trash of the Fengdu sword sect. Block them. Someone in the Black Blood Hall shouted. Then, a bloody mist filled the air. Hundreds of Black Blood Hall experts attacked together. A sea of blood seemed to have appeared in the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Hundreds of sword lights slashed on the sea of blood. The sea of blood shook violently, but it eventually blocked the bombardment of the sword lights. Something is wrong. At this moment, the protector's face changed. The faces of Han Xiling and the other experts also changed. Something was wrong. The people who came out to plunder this time were all elites. They were all experts at the 6th level of the Divine Lord Realm and above. They came prepared and launched a surprise attack. The Black Blood Hall guarding this place should not be able to block their attack. After all, the Black Blood Hall had many resource planets. Chapter 3754. After all, the Black Blood Hall had to guard many resource planets. Every resource planet had to be guarded by experts. Hence, the number of experts on each resource planet was limited. Even if the purple moon godly metal on the purple moon planet was very precious and the people sent to guard it were stronger than those from other resource planets, the Fengdu sword sect had come prepared this time. Their strength was definitely stronger than the people from the Black Blood Hall guarding the purple moon planet. However, the people from the Black Blood Hall had easily blocked their attack. That was strange. 7th level divine monarchs. They are all experts above the 7th level divine monarchs. Not good. They are prepared. Retreat. A few experts from the Fengdu sword sect shouted and ordered everyone to retreat. However, it was too late. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Figures flickered in the purple mountain range below and people in red robes appeared one after another. At the same time, the void behind Lu Ming and the rest rippled like water. Then, people in red robes appeared and blocked their path of retreat. There were thousands of people densely packed in front, behind, to the left and right. They were surrounded. Not good. At this moment, the hearts of the people from the Fengdu sword sect sank. Obviously, the Black Blood Hall was prepared. They had deployed a large number of troops and were waiting for them to take the bait. I knew that the Fengdu sword sect would come to the purple moon star. Hee hee. Since you are here, don't leave. A cold voice was heard and a red-haired old man stepped out. He was emitting a powerful aura. He was a boundary emperor. Boom, boom, boom. Powerful auras were constantly erupting in the surroundings. Many powerful auras pressed toward Lu Ming and the rest. Boundary emperors. Among them, the number of boundary emperors was shocking. There were definitely more than 50 of them. It's over. The people from the Fengdu sword sect trembled slightly. This time, they were in danger. They only had a dozen boundary emperors. They were far inferior compared to the other party. "Kill our way out." The protector roared and took the lead to attack. He rushed to the sky and a dazzling sword light slashed out as if it was going to split the sky apart. However, a blood-red palm print appeared and blasted towards the sword light, blocking it. "You still want to leave today? Ridiculous." A boundary emperor from the Black Blood Hall shouted and charged towards the protector. The two of them fought. The other people in Feng City Palace Hall tried their best to attack, but they were also blocked. For a moment, they could not rush out. "Let's attack together and annihilate the people from Fengju Sword faction." On the Purple Mountain Range, the red-haired old man coldly shouted and gave the order. "Kill." On the Purple Mountain Range, a large number of experts from the Black Blood Hall rushed towards the Fengju Sword sect. The densely packed silhouettes and terrifying auras made the people of Fengju Sword sect feel despair. As long as these people rushed over, the formation of the Feng City Sword School would definitely collapse. At that time, only death would await them. No one would be able to escape. "Fight them to the death. Even if I have to risk my life, I will drag them down with me." Many people from the Fengju Sword sect roared and planned to fight to the death. "Brother Moo Moo." Han Xiling's beautiful eyes looked at Lu Ming expectantly. She was fully aware of Lu Ming's combat strength. In such a situation, she could only rely on Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming was also speechless. Originally, he only wanted to follow along and take advantage of the situation to plunder some metal ores as food for Qiu Qiu. He did not expect that this robbery would not go smoothly and that he would encounter an ambush. Now, he could only take action. "Leave it to me," Lu Ming said. He then stepped out and headed toward the Black Blood Hall experts who were dashing over from the Purple Mountain Range. "Fight them to the death." Other experts from the Fengju Sword sect followed closely behind Lu Ming and rushed over. "Courting death. Kill them all." The people from the Black Blood Hall roared and various attacks rained down on the Fengju Sword sect. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming moved. His fingers were like a sword as he madly slashed at the void. The sword-type secret techniques that he had fused with his hands all burst out. Suddenly, hundreds of sword lights burst out from his hands and slashed at the experts from the Black Blood Hall. The Sea of Blood, the blood-colored python, the blood-colored goshawk, the blood-colored saber gleam, and so on all collapsed after being slashed by Lu Ming's sword gleam. Moreover, the sword gleam did not stop and continued to slash at the people from the Black Blood Hall. Puff, puff. The people from the Black Blood Hall could not resist at all. Most of them fell when the sword lights slashed. More than 50 people were killed in an instant. Only a few quasi-emperors retreated with serious injuries and were not killed. The people from the Fengju Sword sect who followed closely behind Lu Ming were stunned. They were prepared to fight to the death when they suddenly realized that their opponents were killed by a sword light. A large number of the experts from the Black Blood Hall who were rushing towards them suddenly decreased. Lu Ming's movements did not stop at all. His figure rapidly moved forward. With a wave of his hand, a large number of sword lights burst out. This time, the injured quasi-emperors were also killed. Lu Ming's figure did not stop. He was like a tiger in a flock of sheep. Everywhere he passed, a large number of experts from the Black Blood Hall were killed. From the quasi-emperors to the 7th and 8th layers of the divine monarchs, they were all unable to withstand a single blow. In a few breaths' time, more than 200 people died in the hands of Lu Ming. Run! The people from the Black Blood Hall were scared out of their wits. They scattered and fled frantically. How would they dare to fight? In the sky, the people from the Fengju Sword sect and the Black Blood Hall were dumbfounded. The battle came to a stop as well. Fengju Sword sect, you have violated the rules. You have sent out a divine emperor. The people from the Black Blood Hall shouted hysterically. In their opinion, only a divine emperor could kill a quasi-emperor so easily. The people from the Fengju Sword sect were also confused. Could it be that there was a divine emperor among them? Nonsense, he is clearly a divine monarch. Han Xiling shouted. Boom. Lu Ming cooperated with Han Xiling and released his aura. What? The aura of a 5th layer divine monarch? Impossible. He is really a fifth-layer divine monarch. The people from the Fengju sword sect and the Black Blood Hall were stunned. Swish. Lu Ming's figure changed and killed a few more quasi-emperors. Even if these quasi-emperors joined forces, they were not Lu Ming's opponent. They could only be killed. Retreat, retreat. Finally, the people from the Black Blood Hall were scared and retreated. Lu Ming was too strong. If this continued, the experts from the Black Blood Hall would most likely die here. They roared in their hearts. They did not expect that there would be such a strong expert in the Fengju sword sect. His cultivation was obviously low, but his battle strength was ridiculously strong. However, as long as he was not a divine emperor, he did not violate the rules. All the people from the Black Blood Hall gathered together and flew out of the Purple Moon Star. Not long after, the people from the Black Blood Hall on the Purple Moon Star fled. The remaining people from the Fengju sword sect looked at each other in dismay. They had not recovered from the shock. They thought that they would definitely die today. They did not expect that there would be such a strong expert among them. With his own strength, he reversed the situation. Chapter 3755. Everyone in the Fengju sword sect looked at Lu Ming. Their eyes were filled with guesses and suspicions. Was this an expert from their Fengju sword sect? An old monster who had cultivated for a long time? Or a prodigy of the younger generation? He was only a fifth-level divine lord, but his combat power was ridiculously strong. However, among the younger generation, was there such a person in the Fengju sword sect? Perhaps an old monster who had cultivated for a long time. Some old monsters had astonishing strength. It was not as if there were no such people in the primitive universe. Some people were extremely talented when they were young. However, due to certain reasons, they were stuck in a certain realm and could not break through. Such people were originally very talented. However, due to special reasons, they could not break through. After cultivating for so many years, various secret techniques, divine power, and origin secret techniques would be cultivated to a shocking level. Their combat power would be terrifyingly high. They could often fight across several realms. Although such people were rare, they were not non-existent. Perhaps the person in front of them was a prodigy in the history of the Fengju sword sect who was stuck in the fifth-level divine lord realm and could not break through? More people thought so. Lu Ming ignored these people. After the people from the Black Blood Hall left, Lu Ming rushed into the Purple Mountain Range. There were many mines in the Purple Mountain Range. Lu Ming rushed into one of the mines. Begin the operation. Seeing Lu Ming rush into the mine, the rest of the Fengju sword sect also rushed into the various mines. They had to seize the time to plunder more Purple Moon divine iron. After Lu Ming rushed into the mine, he quickly reached the depths of the mine. He looked at the walls. They were all Purple Moon divine iron. Chocho, eat to your heart's content. Lu Ming waved his hand, and Chocho flew out. So many delicacies. Mine, all mine. Chocho's body swelled up. He opened his mouth and started biting crazily. Crunch, crunch. A large amount of Purple Moon divine iron was swallowed by Chocho. Soon, a large hole appeared in the wall. There are even more delicacies below. Chocho shouted and began to change direction. He drilled downwards. Soon, he opened up a tunnel that led downwards. Lu Ming followed Chocho down the passageway. As Chocho's cultivation base increased, its devouring speed also increased at an astonishing rate. In just a few minutes, it had eaten a 10,000-meter deep tunnel. Lu Ming discovered that the lower he went, the harder the ores became, because the content of the Purple Moon divine iron was higher and higher. Towards the end, any piece of Purple Moon heavenly iron ore that was dug out had a very high concentration, exceeding 50%. Lu Ming took out a saber and continuously hacked at it. He cut the Purple Moon divine iron ore into pieces and stored them in his storage ring for Chocho to eat in the future. Meanwhile, Chocho continued to open its mouth and gorge itself. Just like that, 3 days passed. Chocho had eaten an unknown amount of Purple Moon divine iron ores, so much so that its entire body was emitting purple gas. As for Lu Ming, he also excavated a large amount of divine iron ores and put them all into his storage ring. Treasure, There's a treasure. Chocho suddenly cried out with excitement in its eyes. It extended a few sabers from its body and began digging. A moment later, a purple metal the size of a water tank appeared in front of Lu Ming. This is Purple Moon Mother Steel. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. There was no mistake, this was Purple Moon Mother Steel. Purple Moon Mother Steel could only be found in extremely large Purple Moon Divine Iron ores. The value of Purple Moon Mother Steel was at least tens of thousands of times higher than ordinary Purple Moon Divine Iron, perhaps even more. This was because Purple Moon Mother Steel could be used to refine divine artifacts of a higher grade than Emperor-grade divine artifacts. I want to eat. Chocho opened its mouth and was about to swallow the entire Purple Moon Mother Steel. Wait, leave a piece for me. Lu Ming hastily took action, using a divine artifact saber to hack at it. Finally, he managed to cut off a small piece and put it away. The rest was swallowed by Chocho. Chocho looked like it was enjoying itself. Chocho, can you break through to the Divine Emperor realm with just this? Lu Ming asked. Absolutely. Chocho repeatedly nodded. Let's see if there are any more Purple Moon Mother Steel in the surroundings, Lu Ming said. Chocho nodded, then opened its mouth and continued to gnaw. However, it did not find anything after circling the surroundings. At this time, Lu Ming received news from Han Xiling that they had to retreat. They had been plundering for more than 3 days. If this continued, the Black Blood Palace might go crazy and send out divine emperors. Chocho, let's go, Lu Ming said. Lu Ming decided to leave. He was satisfied with the harvest this time. At least Chocho had enough energy to break through to the divine emperor realm. He had also stored a large amount of Purple Moon Iron ores. Chocho turned back into a bracelet and wore it on Lu Ming's wrist. Lu Ming left the place. When he arrived outside the mine, he saw that the people of Feng City Sword Sect had already gathered. They were still curiously sizing up Lu Ming, guessing Lu Ming's identity. After waiting for everyone to arrive, they left the place. They did not encounter any danger along the way and returned to Feng City Sword Sect. After returning to Feng City Sword Sect, Lu Ming left secretly and returned to his residence. Later, Feng City Sword Sect would send people to plunder other resources. However, Lu Ming was too lazy to go. He planned to concentrate on cultivating various secret skills. Time passed quickly. Half a year's time passed quickly. The resource treaty would be held soon. On this day, Lu Ming received a message from sect leader Wang of Feng City Sword Sect, inviting him to a gathering. Lu Ming came to the square on the highest sword peak of Feng City Sword Sect and found that there were already many people there. Brother Mu, over here. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, Han Xiling waved at him. Lu Ming walked over and found that there were more than a dozen young men and women beside Han Xiling. They were all the young geniuses of Feng City Sword Sect. Among them, Wang Zhangke was also there. However, when he saw Lu Ming, he just looked confused and did not recognize Lu Ming. That was because the memory of Lu Ming had been cut off by sect leader Wang. Is the resource treaty going to be held? Lu Ming asked. Yes, these are the strongest young geniuses of our Feng City Sword Sect, Han Xiling said. Lu Ming nodded and sized up these young geniuses of Feng City Sword Sect. 4 of them had the same cultivation as Han Xiling. They were all 6th-level Divine Lords. One of them was a 7th-level Divine Lord. He looked a little arrogant. Everyone also sized up Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not hide his aura. Hence, everyone was very clear about Lu Ming's cultivation. 5th-level Divine Lord. They did not care about Lu Ming's cultivation. They were just curious because they had not seen Lu Ming before. Perhaps, he was secretly groomed by the sect. Everyone thought in their hearts. At this time, a group of people walked out of the hall above the square. Among them, there were 5 young men and women. Each of them looked arrogant and their eyes grew on top of their heads. Sect leader Wang and some elders carefully accompanied them by the side. Chapter 3756. Who are these guys? Lu Ming asked curiously. Those 5 young men and women actually needed sect leader Wang and the rest to accompany them. Don't speak if you don't know anything, The one who spoke wasn't Han Xiling, but the 7th-level Divine Lord Youth. His name was Qi Ping, and he was the #1 expert among the younger generation of Feng City Sword Sect. He was stronger than Han Xiling, Wang Zhangke, and the rest. He cast a cold glance at Lu Ming and continued, "If you don't know anything, don't spout nonsense. Be careful not to get yourself into big trouble. Those few geniuses are external help that the sect leader has invited from outside. All of them are from powerful clans on the primordial 10,000 clans list. Furthermore, they are not ordinary clans. They are ranked at least within the top 3,000, so they are external aid," Lu Ming said in a low voice, not even looking at Qi Ping. This kid, Qi Ping's eyes flashed coldly when he saw that Lu Ming actually dared to ignore him. He was the #1 genius of Feng City Sword Sect. He had a bright future. When the disciples of Feng City Sword Sect saw him, which one of them wasn't respectful? Lu Ming, a disciple who appeared out of nowhere, actually dared to ignore him. In his opinion, this was an insult to him. Of course, his tone wasn't friendly. He felt that reprimanding Lu Ming was something he should do. "Chimpage, you dare to ignore me? You will regret it." Qi Ping snorted coldly in his heart. He then looked at the 5 external aid geniuses and immediately put on a smile on his face. He went forward and cupped his fists. "Junior Qi Ping greets Brother Han and Brother Yang." Millimeter. The 5 young men and women casually glanced at Qi Ping and faintly grunted. They didn't put Qi Ping in their eyes at all. In their eyes, the so-called genius of the Fengdu Sword Sect could not withstand a single blow. If Feng City Sword Sect hadn't paid a huge price to invite them, they wouldn't even bother to come here. Being looked down upon by the 5 external aid geniuses, Qi Ping's face was still full of smiles. He nodded and bowed like a servant. "What a disgrace." Han Xiling snorted coldly. Her face didn't look good. Feng City Sword Sect's #1 genius acting like this had embarrassed the entire Feng City Sword Sect. "Qi Ping, step down." Sect leader Wang couldn't stand it anymore and said, "Sect leader, it's fine. I'll accompany Brother Han and the others." Qi Ping shamelessly refused to leave. In his opinion, this was a rare opportunity. As long as he could befriend these geniuses from the big clans, he would have a meteoric rise in the future. Seeing this, sect leader Wang's face darkened. "Done," sect leader Wang said, attracting everyone's attention. "The Resource Alliance will be held in 3 days. Every faction will send out 16 geniuses to participate in the competition. My Fengdu Sword Sect will send you guys." The Resource Alliance is related to the resources of the plentiful City Sword Sect for a long time in the future. It is related to the development of the sect. Therefore, this time, you must do your best to bring glory to the sect. "We will do our best," Han Xiling and the others shouted. The 5 Sky Prides looked on indifferently. Their eyes were filled with disdain and mockery. From their point of view, the plentiful City Sword Sect would have to rely on them for this resource alliance. Relying on the Fengdu Sword Sect. The highest was only 7th level Divine Lord. What was the use of that? Among the 5 of them, the one with the lowest cultivation was an 8th level Divine Lord. "Alright, let's go," sect leader Wang announced. This time, the Resource Alliance was held on a planet called Grain Planet. Gulu Star, Alliance City, was the place where the Resource Alliance would be held every time. After they arrived, there was still a day before the Resource Alliance would begin. They stayed in a vast palace. This was the encampment of the plentiful City Sword Sect in the Alliance City. The Alliance City was bustling. Lu Ming and Han Xiling had just arrived, so they naturally walked around. When they returned to their residence in the evening, they were blocked by a few people. They were the 5 Sky Prides. Now, Lu Ming already knew which clans the 5 Sky Prides were from. 2 of them were from the Sacred Heart clan. The Sacred Heart clan was ranked 1790th on the list of 10,000 primitive clans. The other 3 were from the Purple-Eyed Golden Goose clan. They were ranked 1930 on the list of 10,000 primitive clans. They were all from the top 2,000 clans and were famous in the primitive universe. Their clan talents were strong, and they were full of sky prides. Among the 5, One was an 8th level Divine Lord, 3 were 9th level Divine Lords, and a young man from the Sacred Heart clan who was a quasi-emperor. He was not an ordinary quasi-emperor but a quasi-emperor Sky Pride with strong combat power. His name was Han Feng. Han Feng looked at Han Xiling with a burning gaze. Miss Xiling, what a coincidence. We are going to have a drink and a meal. Why don't we go together? Han Feng said, his evil eyes sweeping over Han Xiling's body unscrupulously. Han Xiling was very beautiful, but she had a heroic spirit that made people want to conquer her. Han Xiling's face darkened. She felt uncomfortable being stared at. Sorry, I'm tired. I want to go back and rest, Han Xiling said. Obviously, this was an excuse. Would a Divine Lord be tired so easily? As expected, Han Feng's face darkened. Han Xiling, what do you mean by this? Do you take us for fools? You're tired? Haha, Brother Feng is giving you face by asking you to go for a meal. Don't be so shameless. You should know that even your sect leader is polite in front of us, another young man from the Sacred Heart clan said coldly. Han Xiling's face darkened. The other party was a Sky Pride from a large clan. She could not afford to offend him. However, Han Feng obviously had bad intentions toward her. She definitely did not want to go with Han Feng. Otherwise, it would be more dangerous. Sorry, Miss Xiling has already agreed to go for a meal with me. You're late. Lu Ming interrupted. Instantly, a few cold gazes landed on Lu Ming. There was disdain and warning in their eyes. Kid, is there something wrong with your brain or you don't know how to appreciate kindness? Get lost. Another young man from the Sacred Heart clan said coldly. Although Han Feng did not say anything, his eyes were very cold. If it was an ordinary person, they would have known how to appreciate kindness. However, Lu Ming did not know how to appreciate kindness. Miss Xiling, let's go. I'll cook for you personally. Lu Ming did not look at Han Feng and the rest. He smiled at Han Xiling and walked toward the door. Han Xiling understood and hurriedly followed him. Kid, you're courting death. Another young man from the Sacred Heart clan said coldly. A cold murderous intent broke out from his body and rushed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold and was about to strike. Everyone, please calm down. Sect leader Wang's figure flashed, and he quickly stopped the group. With the Emperor God around, they naturally could not make a move. Sect leader Wang, this is the disciple of your Fengju sword sect. He's really arrogant and condescending, Han Feng said coldly. Sect leader Wang smiled bitterly. He did not expect that Lu Ming and Han Feng would go against each other even before the Resource Alliance agreement began. He did not want to offend either of them. Chapter 3757. Han Feng was from the Sacred Heart race, which was a powerful race ranked 1790th on the primitive 10,000 races list. Moreover, his cultivation had already reached the quasi-emperor realm and he was extremely powerful. He had spent a lot of money to invite him over. He naturally did not dare to offend him. However, Lu Ming was terrifyingly talented and powerful. He could easily defeat a quasi-emperor at the 5th level Divine Lord realm. He did not know what kind of background such a person had. He felt that Lu Ming was unfathomable. He was also very useful for the Resource Alliance this time, so he did not dare to offend him. Therefore, he was in a difficult position. Young Master Han Feng, can you give this old man some face and let this matter go? This old man will definitely send you a gift as an apology. Finally, sect leader Wang cupped his fists and said to Han Feng. Han Feng narrowed his eyes slightly. Sect leader Wang was actually apologizing to him for a 5th level Divine Lord realm person. He was obviously protecting Lu Ming. Could it be that this old man is related to that kid? That kid is this old man's descendant. Otherwise, why would he be like this? Han Feng's mind was racing. He definitely did not think that sect leader Wang was so protective of Lu Ming because his talent was too terrifying. He only thought that Lu Ming was related to sect leader Wang. Alright, since sect leader Wang has spoken, then let's forget about today's matter. However, sect leader Wang, you have to teach your people well. Don't think too highly of yourself and be too arrogant. Otherwise, when you travel in the primitive universe in the future, you won't even know how you died. Han Feng said to sect leader Wang in a lecturing tone. He knew that if sect leader Wang and Lu Ming were really related, sect leader Wang would definitely not allow him to touch Lu Ming. Today, he could not touch Lu Ming. It was a good opportunity to get some benefits and find a way out. Han Feng waved his sleeves and strode away. Before he left, he glanced coldly at Lu Ming. The others also left with Han Feng. Lu Ming smiled casually. If he really wanted to fight, would he be afraid of Han Feng? Even if he was a top genius, Lu Ming was not afraid of him with his current battle strength. After greeting sect leader Wang, Lu Ming walked into the palace. The next day, in a plaza in the center of the Alliance City, there was a sea of people. Today was the day when the 18 universe-level powers of the Iron Sea Starfield Group would convene their resource alliance. Many people from small forces came to watch. Above the square, rows of white jade chairs floated in the air. The white jade seats were divided into 18 different areas, each representing a different faction. Lu Ming and the others followed sect leader Wang and sat in one of the areas. Sitting there, Zhong Xian was able to see the entire region beneath him. It seems like every force has invited some terrifying foreign aid, an elder beside sect leader Wang said with a solemn expression. Sect leader Wang nodded with a stern expression. He scanned his surroundings and carefully observed the young men of the other 18 factions. From their life force, it was easy to tell that some of the young men came from powerful clans with high cultivation. They were all invited foreign aid. This time, it's going to be difficult. Some of the factions even invited the top few hundred geniuses. I heard that some of them are exceptionally powerful. Although they are only quasi-emperors, they can fight with immortal emperors. An elder of the Feng City Sword sect sighed. Yes, I heard about it too. However, we don't care about the top few factions. I wonder how powerful the foreign aid that Black Blood Hall and White Witch sect have invited is. Another elder said. The Feng City Sword sect did not think about the few factions that were too powerful. They definitely could not compete with them. Their goal was to enter the top 10. As long as they could enter the top 10, they would be able to obtain some good resource planets. In the future, the overall strength of the Feng City Sword sect would be enhanced. Therefore, they were concerned about the few competitors, such as Black Blood Hall and White Witch sect, who were aiming to enter the top 10. The people of the Feng City Sword sect were observing the others, and the others were observing each other as well. The local geniuses of the various factions were well aware of the situation. The change this time came from the foreign aid. Whoever invited the most powerful foreign aid would be able to obtain a good ranking. The region in the north belonged to the Great Heavenly Sect. The Great Heavenly Sect was the undisputed number 1 faction in the Iron Sea Star Zone. They were sitting on the white jade chairs with a confident look on their faces. They had the right to be confident. Not only were they powerful local geniuses, but the foreign aid they had invited this time was also terrifying. They had invited the geniuses of the Ziying tribe this time. How powerful was the Ziying tribe? They were ranked 99 on the Eldritch 10,000 tribe board. The geniuses that they had invited this time were exceptionally powerful. They were quasi-emperors who could fight with immortal emperors. This time, the first place would definitely be theirs again. Could the other factions invite the geniuses of the top 100 factions? What a joke! At this moment, an elder flew over and whispered a few words to the sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect. The sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect was shocked. He stood up from his seat and attracted the attention of the other factions. However, the sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect could not be bothered. He said to the elder, "Are you telling the truth?" "Absolutely. They will be here soon," the elder said. "Why is that person here suddenly?" "I don't care. Hurry, let's go and welcome them," the sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect said hurriedly. He led a few elders and flew into the distance. The people from the other factions were curious. What could make the sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect leave in such a hurry? What happened? The crowd could only wait patiently. They did not wait for long before the sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect and the rest returned. However, there were a few more people when they returned. One of them was wearing a white robe and a bamboo hat. A white veil hung from the side of the bamboo hat, covering her body and appearance. However, many people could tell that she was a woman. Behind her were two people who were wearing the same clothes as her. However, they were not wearing white but black. The sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect carefully accompanied the white-robed woman. He was half a step behind her with a respectful look on his face. The crowd looked at each other. Who was this person? She was so important that the sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect went to welcome her personally. Moreover, he was so respectful. Needless to say, this person must have a powerful background. They were either extremely powerful seniors, or they were existences with shocking backgrounds. Many divine emperors extended their spiritual senses to check the cultivation level of these people. However, they were repelled by a powerful force and could not get close to them. Their faces changed and they did not dare to test them again. The sect leader of the Great Heavenly Sect asked the three of them to sit on the white jade chairs respectfully. Then, he stepped into the air and came to the sky above the square. He was in charge of the Resource Alliance this time. Chapter 3758. Alright, since everyone is here, let's start the Resource Alliance. I believe everyone knows the rules. Like before, every faction will send out 16 people to participate. There will be 2 rounds and the points will be accumulated. After the 2 rounds, whichever faction has the highest accumulated points will be ranked first. The rankings will be based on the points. The first round will be a team battle. However, it won't be a team competition. Instead, the team will enter an array space to kill desolate beasts and earn point. The second round will be the classic arena battle. Lots will be drawn and the teams will fight in pairs. It's best to calculate the points according to the rankings of each faction. Alright, those who are going to fight, come up. I want to record it. The Great Heaven Sect leader simply announced the rules. As for the specific rules, everyone already knew about them. Lu Ming, Han Xiling and the rest stood up and stepped forward to the space in front. The other factions did the same. Every faction had 16 people. They were all young men and women. Some were cold, some were arrogant, and so on. Opposite Lu Ming and the rest, there was a faction's sky pride sizing them up. This faction was the Black Blood Hall. The people from the Black Blood Hall swept their gazes across them and finally landed on Lu Ming. The Feng City Sword Sect even sent out a 5th-level Divine Lord. Is there no one else to send? Definitely no one. How many Sky Prides can the Feng City Sword Sect send out? Moreover, with their strength, how many external aids can they get? What a disgrace. I heard that the Feng City Sword Sect is ambitious and wants to rush into the top 10. With such strength, it's a fool's dream. They better not be at the bottom. A few Sky Prides from the Black Blood Hall sneered and discussed. They did not suppress their voices and it spread out clearly. Many people heard it. Some people from the other forces glanced at Lu Ming, revealing looks of disdain. A 5th-level Divine Lord was indeed not enough. These words made the other Sky Prides from the Feng City Sword Sect turn red with embarrassment. I don't know what the sect leader is thinking. He actually allowed this trash to participate in the Resource Alliance and embarrassed us. The number 1 Sky Pride from the Feng City Sword Sect, Qi Ping, snorted. He was very unhappy. That's right. The other people from the Fengdu Sword Sect quickly agreed. However, Lu Ming's expression remained calm. He had done all of this on purpose. If he did not release his aura, these people would not be able to sense his cultivation at all. He deliberately released his aura so that these people could sense it and make them look down on him. If these people looked down on him, it would be easier for him to take action later. If his performance was too dazzling at the beginning, he would be targeted instead. The sect leader of the Great Heaven Sect took out a jade token. The jade token shone brightly and shone on everyone. This way, their auras would be recorded. It would be impossible to change people halfway through. Then, The great sky sect leader waved his hand and a total of 18 array discs flew into the sky. 18 formation plates floated in one direction, emitting a bright light. Then, with the formation plates as the center, pitch-black vortexes appeared one after another. This was a spatial tunnel. Alright, for the first round, every force will enter an array space. These 18 array spaces are the same and the strength of the desolate beasts inside are about the same. Your objective in entering is to hunt down the desolate beasts, find the crystal cores in the desolate beasts, and bring them out. However, let me tell you, not all desolate beasts have crystal cores. In fact, there are very few desolate beasts that have crystal cores. Moreover, there are 3 types of crystal cores. The first type is the black crystal core, which is worth 1 point. The second type is the silver crystal core, which is worth 10 points. The third type is the gold crystal core, which is worth 100 points. The time limit is 3 days. After 3 days, you will be automatically teleported out. At that time, the total points obtained by each force will be tabulated. Go in. The great sky sect leader announced. Swoosh swoosh swoosh, the geniuses of the 18 forces moved and flew towards the spatial vortex above their heads. They rushed into the spatial vortex and disappeared. Lu Ming, Han Xiling, and the rest also flew into the vortexes and disappeared. The emperor gods of the various forces could only wait patiently. This was a contest between the younger generation. They could not interfere. They could only pray silently that their side could achieve a good result. Lu Ming flew into the vortexes. In the next moment, he appeared on a plane. Beside him, Han Xiling, Qi Ping, Wang Zhengke, Han Feng, and the rest were together. Next, what should we do? Which direction should we go first? A Fengdu sword sect disciple asked. Hunting the desolate beasts was easy. However, there were not many desolate beasts that had crystal cores. It was not easy to obtain crystal cores. They had to plan carefully. What should we do? It's simple. Split up. The one who spoke was Han Feng. Split up. The sect leader has warned us that the desolate beasts here are very fast. We need to surround them so that we can kill them faster. If we split up, our efficiency will be greatly reduced. Han Xiling said. Surround them together? With your strength. To put it bluntly, joining forces with you will only hinder us. Our efficiency will be even lower. Do you understand? Han Feng sneered with a look of disdain. You. Han Xiling's face was flushed red. That's right. Especially Mu Yun. With such a low cultivation, he will only be a hindrance if he follows us. Let's split up, Qi Ping added. His eyes flickered as if he was planning something bad. After saying that, he cupped his fists at Han Feng and said with a flattering face, Young Master Han, I think that if Mu Yun alone is not enough, the rest will be of some help. Young Master Han Feng, why don't you bring them along? That's fine too. Let's do it this way. Mu Yun, you go alone. Han Feng looked at Lu Ming and said indifferently, How can you let Brother Mu go alone? We need Brother Mu's combat strength. Han Xiling said loudly. Need his strength? Ha ha ha, a 5th level divine monarch? Ha ha ha. Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the rest laughed contemptuously. Miss Xiling, it's fine. I will go alone. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. He did not care. He had promised sect leader Wang that he would do his best. Going alone was going to be the same as going with many people. As long as he had a clear conscience, it was fine. As for what kind of results he could achieve, he could not be bothered. Brother Mu, I will go with you. Han Xiling said and came to Lu Ming's side. No, you have to go with us. This time, I am the leader. Han Feng shouted coldly, his eyes revealing a look of jealousy. Yesterday, he invited Han Xiling for a meal but was rejected by Han Xiling and wanted to follow Lu Ming. Now, she actually wanted to follow Lu Ming, which made him furious. Who was Lu Ming? How could he be compared to him? Chapter 3759. Chimpy. Han Xiling snorted. That's right, Han Feng was indeed the team leader this time. Since his cultivation was the highest, at the Quasi-Emperor realm, sect leader Wang had given the position to him. He had allowed him to unify the layout. However, she could ignore Han Feng's unreasonable demands. "Let's go," Lu Ming said and turned to leave. Han Xiling followed Lu Ming and disappeared into the depths of the plane in the blink of an eye. "He really wants to do things the hard way." Han Feng's eyes flashed with killing intent. "Brother Han, do you want me to go over and teach that Mu Yun a lesson?" Qi Ping said. "Not for now. After the competition, I'll teach him a lesson," Han Feng said coldly, and then a disc array appeared in his hand. Every faction has a disc array that can sense if there are crystal cores in the wild beasts within 100,000 miles. That kid left alone. Without a disc array, he can only hunt wild beasts like a blind man. He can only rely on his luck and won't gain anything. When he goes out, I'll humiliate him. Han Feng sneered. That's right. Every faction had such a disc array, and the purpose was to reduce the difficulty of obtaining crystal cores. There was only one disc array, and it depended on how each faction used it. Sect leader Wang handed the disc array to Han Feng for safekeeping. Lu Ming didn't know that there was such a disc array. Hee hee. Qi Ping sneered. Han Feng looked at the disc array carefully and said, "To the front left, there's a crystal core reaction there." In a flash, Han Feng and the others flew to the front left. As for Lu Ming and Han Xiling, they headed to the right. This array world was very vast. It was refined by the emissaries of the Heavenly Palace in the past. It was specially made for the factions in the Iron Sea Star Zone to use for the Resource Alliance competition. There were all kinds of wild beasts here, but these wild beasts were all condensed by the array. Only the crystal cores in some wild beasts were real. They were also condensed by the array, absorbing the energy of heaven and earth. They could be taken out and had a unique mark, so people couldn't cheat in advance. Lu Ming and Han Xiling flew for tens of thousands of miles on the vast plain. Roar, roar, roar on the plains, a group of grassland lions charged towards Lu Ming and the others. There were more than 100 of them. The moment Lu Ming sensed, he discovered that these grassland lions' cultivations were mostly at the 6th level Divine Lord realm. Some reached the 7th level Divine Lord realm. It was not easy to hunt these grassland lions, let alone obtain their crystal cores. Therefore, Qi Ping, Han Feng, and the others felt that Lu Ming and Han Xiling wouldn't be able to obtain many crystal cores. If they were lucky enough to get a few pieces, it would be considered not bad. The grassland lion was extremely fast. It came and went like the wind. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. Whoosh, whoosh. Before Han Xiling could make a move, Lu Ming waved his hand and activated the sword-type secret technique in his cells. Hundreds of sword lights burst out and slashed at these prairie lions. Bang, bang, bang. As the sword light slashed through, all of the grassland lions instantly exploded, turning into energy and disappearing. Not a single crystal core. Lu Ming glanced around and was a little disappointed. After killing more than 100 grassland lions, they didn't find a single crystal core, not even the lowest grade crystal core. It was obvious that it wasn't easy to obtain crystal cores. Humph, that Qi Ping and Han Feng are short-sighted. If we cooperate with Brother Mu, our plentiful city sword sect will definitely be able to obtain a large number of crystal cores. After we get out, I will complain to the sect master. Han Xiling gritted her teeth and said. Seeing Lu Ming's strength, she was even more furious. Lu Ming smiled faintly and continued forward. Following that, they encountered a few more groups of grassland lions. After killing them, they still didn't obtain any crystal cores. Soon, they had traveled more than 100,000 miles. Caw, caw, caw. In the sky, a large number of giant birds flew over. These giant birds were green in color. Wrapped in the wind, they flew at an astonishing speed. So many. There should be crystal cores, right? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. This group of green giant birds definitely numbered in the thousands. Furthermore, their auras were robust. The weakest was a 6th level Divine Lord. The strongest was shockingly a 9th level Divine Lord existence. With so many numbers, forget about 5th level or 6th level Divine Lords, even if a Quasi-Emperor encountered them, they could only flee without a trace. Otherwise, they would be besieged to death by this large group of green giant birds. But to Lu Ming, it was nothing. The more desolate beasts he encountered, the better. Lu Ming did not have the slightest consideration, directly rushing over and unleashing a massacre. He was like a tiger entering a flock of sheep, incomparably berserk. Each move would have a large number of green giant birds killed. Regardless of whether it was 6th-level Divine Lords, 7th-level Divine Lords, or 8th-level Divine Lords, they were all not his match. Gar gar gar, these green giant birds cried out loudly, flapping their wings. Densely packed green sharp blades slashed towards Lu Ming. But Lu Ming did not dodge or avoid, allowing these attacks to land on his body. He was completely fine, unable to break his defense at all. Very soon, Lu Ming had killed more than 1,000 of the thousands of giant green birds. That is, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. In the air, there were 2 black crystal cores floating. Each crystal core was about the size of a longan. They were dropped from the few green giant birds that were killed by Lu Ming. With a flash, he grabbed the 2 black crystal cores in his hand. Finally, he obtained 2 black crystal cores, worth 2 points. Putting away the black crystal cores, Lu Ming continued to kill. Han Xiling could almost not intervene and could only hunt some green giant birds that were alone by the side. Gar gave very soon, more than half of the green giant birds were killed. The remaining ones scattered in a hubbub, fleeing in all directions. Lu Ming chased after them. Lu Ming's body cells were integrated with a large number of speed-type mystic arts. When they erupted together, his speed was astonishingly fast. He flashed non-stop. With each flash, a green giant bird was killed, falling on the spot. Not long after, most of the green giant birds were killed, turning into energy and vanishing. And Lu Ming already obtained 6 black crystal cores. Looks like I still have to find a large group of desolate beasts to better obtain the crystal cores, Lu Ming pondered. After that, he and Han Xiling left this place, specifically looking for a large group of desolate beasts. A day later, they indeed had a bountiful harvest. They had already obtained a total of 30 black crystal cores. However, they did not obtain a single silver crystal core or a single gold crystal core. On this day, they left the range of the grassland and came to a desolate mountain forest. Roar, in the mountain forest, there were loud roars constantly coming. There are quite a number of desolate beasts. Then let's kill them one by one. Whether we can get enough crystal cores will depend on luck. Anyway, I've tried my best. Lu Ming pondered, then rushed into the mountain forest, pushing his way through. Here, not only were there 9th-level Divine Lord desolate beasts, there were also quasi-emperor level desolate beasts. They were all killed by Lu Ming. After Lu Ming killed more than a dozen quasi-emperor level desolate beasts, he finally obtained a silver crystal core. Chapter 3760. A silver crystal core was worth 10 points, but the probability of it appearing was very low. He had only obtained one after killing a dozen quasi-emperor level wild beasts. It seemed like he could only obtain a golden crystal core by killing a divine emperor realm wild beast. How many people could kill a divine emperor realm wild beast? Lu Ming naturally wouldn't go out of his way to hunt a divine emperor realm wild beast. Lu Ming continued to hunt in the forest. As for Han Xiling, she was only a 6th-layer divine monarch. Even if her battle strength was comparable to a 7th-layer divine monarch, she wouldn't be of much help. Soon, 3 days passed. Time was up. Lu Ming obtained a total of 100 black crystal cores and 5 silver crystal cores. His total score was 150 points. As for Han Xiling, she only obtained 2 pitiful black crystal cores. Looking at the 2 pitiful black crystal cores in her hands, Han Xiling's face flushed red. Buzz. At this moment, there was a tremor in the space. A gush of energy acted on Lu Ming and Han Xiling. Once the time was up, the power of the array would send them out of this space. The space flashed, and in the next moment, Lu Ming and Han Xiling reappeared in the sky above the Alliance City Square. Looking around, he saw Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the rest beside him. Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the rest glanced at Lu Ming with disdain. "Let's go. Give the crystal cores to sect leader Wang. Han Feng took the lead and walked towards sect leader Wang. Sect leader Wang quickly flew over. How is it? How's the harvest? Sect leader Wang asked expectantly. Not bad. After saying that, Han Feng waved his hand, and pieces of crystal cores flew out. A total of 360 black crystal cores and 6 silver crystal cores, Han Feng said. 360 black crystal cores and 6 silver crystal cores added up to 420 points. As for the golden crystal cores, it was impossible for Han Feng and the rest to obtain them. Only Divine Emperor Realm wild beasts had them. Even the silver crystal cores were hard to obtain. For example, Han Feng and the rest. Han Feng's cultivation was at the quasi-emperor realm. However, he was a top-notch genius. His battle prowess was strong and he could kill ordinary quasi-emperors. In addition, the Sacred Heart race and the Purple-Eyed Golden Geese race had 3 9th-level Divine Lord prodigies in total. Their battle prowess could barely contend with a boundary emperor. As for the others, they could not do anything to the quasi-emperor. On average, a dozen quasi-emperor desolate beasts would only produce 1 silver crystal core. Hence, it was already not bad for them to obtain 6 silver crystal cores. So little? Sect leader Wang's face darkened slightly. This was not the result he wanted. He knew that with Han Feng and Lu Ming's strength, it would not be difficult for them to kill quasi-emperors. There should be more than 6 silver crystal cores. What's going on? This result is already not bad. After all, I'm the only one who can really kill a quasi-emperor. To be able to obtain 6 silver crystal cores is already not bad. Seeing that sect leader Wang seemed a little unhappy, Han Feng's face darkened as he said coldly, "Only one person can kill a quasi-emperor?" Sect leader Wang was stunned. Couldn't Lu Ming do it too? Could it be that Lu Ming did not make a move? Sect leader Wang could not help but look at Lu Ming. Sect leader, Han Feng and the rest did not want me to go with Mu Yun. The 2 of us went alone, Han Xiling quickly explained. They did not want you to go alone. After sect leader Wang heard this, he could not help but feel angry. Lu Ming, who had such a strong battle prowess, was actually separated by Han Feng and went alone. No wonder they obtained so little. Damn it. If he had known this would happen, he would have told Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the rest about Lu Ming's true battle prowess and asked them to cooperate. The 2 of them are just a hindrance if they go with us. If they really went with us, we might not have obtained so many points. Han Feng continued. Finally, he said impatiently to Lu Ming and the rest, "All right, hand over the crystal cores you obtained. Do you have any? Maybe you didn't even get a single one. Hee. Black crystal cores were not that easy to obtain. One needed to kill large numbers of desolate beasts to obtain them. And the desolate beasts in the array world, the weakest were virtually all 6th-level Divine Lord. Lu Ming and Han Xiling, 1 5th-level Divine Lord and 1 6th-level Divine Lord respectively. Facing large numbers of desolate beasts, it was already not bad to be able to preserve their lives. Yet they still wanted to obtain crystal cores. He looked at Lu Ming with a cold smile, waiting to see Lu Ming make a fool of himself. Previously, he did not let Lu Ming go with them. Wasn't it for this scene? Mu Yun, how many crystal cores did you obtain? Still not handing them over? Don't worry, with your cultivation, we won't have high hopes for you. Every point counts. Hurry up. Qi Ping also urged, impatient to see Lu Ming make a fool of himself so that he could mock him in public. If you want to see, then look carefully, Lu Ming said nonchalantly. Then, a storage ring appeared in his hand. You really know how to pretend to be useful and still use a storage ring to store them? Making it seem like there are many pieces, haha. Qi Ping ridiculed. In the next moment, he shut his mouth. His eyes widened and his mouth opened wider and wider. Because pieces of black crystal cores flew out from Lu Ming's storage ring. A total of 102 pieces. Han Xiling's 2 pieces of black crystal cores were also placed together with Lu Ming. This, Qi Ping, Han Feng, and the rest almost bit their tongues. How could Lu Ming obtain so many crystal cores? With his cultivation, How did he do it? They felt that their minds couldn't wrap around the turn of events. But in the next moment, their eyeballs almost popped out because 5 more crystal cores flew out from the storage ring. 5 silver crystal cores that were extremely dazzling. Sect Master, the 2 of us only obtained 152 points. We have embarrassed the Fengju Sword Sect. Lu Ming handed the crystal cores to Sect Master Wang and said. He purposely emphasized the words 2 of us. Han Feng's, Qi Ping's, and the rest's faces turned red. Lu Ming and Han Xiling, one of them was a 5th-level Divine Lord while the other was a 6th-level Divine Lord. Both of them obtained 152 points. And the 14 of them, especially the 5 heavenly talents who came as external aids, the weakest cultivation was an 8th-level Divine Lord while Han Feng was a quasi-emperor. With so many of them, they only obtained 420 points. In comparison, weren't they trash? Fire. Fury. Han Feng felt that the fury in his body was about to explode. Impossible, you're a 5th-level Divine Lord trash. How could you obtain so many crystal cores? And there are even 5 silver crystal cores. This is impossible. Han Feng growled as his eyes stared at Lu Ming. Of course, I obtained them from hunting desolate beasts. Otherwise, what do you think? Lu Ming casually glanced at Han Feng and said. Obtained them from hunting desolate beasts? Nonsense, with your 5th-level Divine Lord cultivation, it's absolutely impossible. Han Feng's face was gloomy and filled with killing intent. He stared at Lu Ming and said, Speak, how did you obtain them? Chapter 3761. Frogs in a Well. Lu Ming said emotionlessly and ignored Han Feng. This simple sentence almost made Han Feng and Qi Ping explode with anger. If sect leader Wang and the other leaders were not here, they would have attacked Lu Ming and the rest. Humph, do you really think that you got it by hunting the wild beasts? Who would believe that? Only fools would believe that. You must have gotten it by luck through some unknown means. In the end, Han Feng snorted. He would never believe that Lu Ming got it by hunting the wild beasts, especially the silver crystal core. He knew how hard it was to get a silver crystal core. On average, they had to kill more than a dozen boundary emperors to get 1 silver crystal core. More than a dozen of them had worked together and put in a lot of effort to get 6 silver crystal cores. Lu Ming and Han Xiling could get 5 silver crystal cores. Didn't that mean that Lu Ming and Han Xiling would be able to kill dozens of quasi-emperor-level desolate beasts? That was impossible. Not to mention the Fengju Sword Sect, even the Sacred Heart Tribe did not have such powerful supreme talents who could kill so many boundary emperors as level 5 or level 6 divine lords. Therefore, this possibility could be ruled out. He reckoned that Lu Ming and Han Xiling were lucky. They had obtained so many star cores through a method that he did not understand. Alright, let's end this here. Take a rest and prepare for the second round of the competition. Sect leader Wang raised his hand and stopped Lu Ming and Han Feng from talking further. However, he was unhappy with Han Feng. If Han Feng and Lu Ming were to fight together, they would get more points. The Resource Alliance calculated the total points of the 2 rounds and ranked them according to the total points. The higher the total points, the higher the ranking. Of course, sect leader Wang was unhappy, but he did not show it on his face. After all, he still had to rely on Han Feng and the rest for the second round. Alright, leaders of the various forces, bring the crystal cores over for calculation, the sect leader of the Great Sect said. Sect leader Wang kept the crystal cores and went to do the calculation. The 18 forces took turns to take out the crystal cores. The first one was the Great Sky Sect. Everyone turned to look at one of the elders of the Great Sky Sect. The crystal core that the Great Sky Sect had obtained was with this elder. Everyone wanted to know how many crystal cores the Great Sky Sect could obtain. The elder of the Great Heaven Sect was expressionless. He waved his hand and many crystal cores flew out. A burst of dazzling golden light pierced everyone's eyes, causing their hearts to beat violently. A golden crystal core. The Great Sky Sect actually had a golden crystal core. Those who knew the inside story all knew what a golden crystal core represented. One had to kill a wild beast that was equivalent to the Divine Emperor realm in order to obtain the golden crystal core. Furthermore, he probably had to kill more than one to obtain it. This meant that there was someone from the Great Hong sect who could kill a Divine Emperor. The crowd could not help but think that the Great Sky sect had invited the supreme talent of the Ziying tribe, which was ranked 99th on the primitive tribe board. Obviously, this was done by the supreme talent of the Ziying tribe. The Great Sky sect definitely did not have such a powerful supreme talent. To be able to kill a Divine Emperor, this is terrifying. The Great Hong sect is in first place again. It's hard to say. I don't know if the other superpowers have invited such powerful reinforcements. However, based on the overall ranking, the Great Hong sect is indeed stronger. The crowd discussed fervently. Many of the young supreme talents turned pale and their faces turned solemn. They secretly decided that if they encountered the Ziying tribe in the second round of the competition, they would surrender immediately. Only a few forces had normal expressions on their faces. Interesting. Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he was filled with fighting spirit. Initially, he was not interested in the Resource Alliance because he did not have an opponent who could make him take seriously. For example, Han Feng might seem powerful, but if Lu Ming went all out, he could easily defeat Han Feng. Although Han Feng was powerful, he was not powerful enough to fight against a Divine Emperor. But now, Lu Ming was interested. Lu Ming was only a step away from the Divine Lord's sixth realm. If a powerful opponent gave him immense pressure, he might be able to stimulate his potential and make a breakthrough. Soon, the Great Hong sect's points were tabulated. A total of 1,200 points. The Fengdu Sword sect's points were less than half of the Great Hong sect's points. This made the other superpowers who wanted to fight for first place turn solemn. Then, the other superpowers started to tabulate their points. In the end, the Great Hong sect had the most points and was firmly in first place. The superpower in second place had 1,100 points, which was almost 100 points less than the Great Hong sect. The Fengdu Sword sect had exceeded the expectations of many superpowers. They were in 10th place in the first round of the competition, overtaking their old rival, the Black Blood Hall. Damn it. Some of the experts from the Black Blood Hall were unhappy. It's all right. We are still 50 points behind them. The first round of the competition depended more on luck. Perhaps they were lucky. But the second round will depend on strength. In the second round, we will easily overtake them. A young man with a blood-colored horn on his head said in the Black Blood Hall. This person was the reinforcements that the Black Blood Hall had invited. He was a supreme talent from a powerful tribe. That's right. The second round will depend on you. The Hall Master of the Black Blood Hall smiled faintly. The young man with the blood-colored horn was called Wei Jin. He was a supreme talent from the Bloodant tribe and was a boundary emperor. The Bloodant tribe was ranked 566 on the primitive 10,000 tribes board and was much stronger than the Sacred Heart tribe. This time, the Hall Master had paid a huge price to invite Wei Jin. His goal was to be in the top 10 or even higher. The Hall Master was relieved when he thought of Wei Jin's strength. He had seen Wei Jin fight with his own eyes. Although Wei Jin was only a boundary emperor, he had fought with a first-layer god emperor for more than 10 moves before he was at a disadvantage. Ordinary boundary emperors could only be killed by a divine emperor. A divine emperor could kill a large number of boundary emperors with a wave of his hand. Being able to block a divine emperor's attack without dying was already shocking enough, not to mention being in a disadvantageous position after exchanging more than 10 moves. With such combat strength, other than the supreme talent from the Ziying tribe that the Great Hong sect had invited, Wei Jin was almost invincible. Hence, the Hall Master was confident. Sect leader Wang flew back with a smile on his face. He was satisfied to be in the top 10 in the first round. However, he felt that it was a pity. If Lu Ming had teamed up with Han Feng in the first round, the Fengdu Sword sect would have gained more points. Alright, the points of the first round are out. Let's start the second round, the Great Hong sect leader announced. Then, a group of experts flew out. This group of experts came from 18 different forces and each force participated in the second round to ensure fairness. These experts moved their hands and runes appeared one after another. In the next moment, 18 battle stages gradually appeared in the sky. Chapter 3762. 18 huge fighting stages floated in the air. The fighting stages were huge and black in color. They looked like they were made of a strange metal. There were runes on them and they looked heavy as if they were indestructible. The rules of the second round are as follows. First, I will split the 18 forces into 18 fighting stages. There will be 16 people on each stage. These 16 people will take turns to fight. Everyone will fight with the other 15 people. Finally, the 4 people with the best results on each stage will advance to the next round. Those who advance will receive 100 points. Those who don't advance will receive no points. In the end, 72 people will advance to the next round of the 18 fighting stages. These 72 people will then fight one-on-one to determine the strongest 9 people. These 9 people will then take turns to fight each other to determine the final ranking, the Grand Patriarch continued to announce. No one was surprised. They already knew about this rule. This was the most classic fighting stage rule and it was also the fairest. Many forces would use this rule for the competition. Lu Ming had seen many of these rules along the way. The more he fought, the more points he would receive. The 72 people who advanced to the next round would receive 100 points. After that, they would fight one-on-one and advance to the next round. The 36 people who advanced to the next round would receive 200 points. The 36 people who advanced to the next round would receive 300 points. The 18 people who advanced to the next round would receive 500 points. For a force, the more people who advanced to the next round, the more points they would receive. Once they were in the top 3, they would receive additional rewards. Hence, for a top-notch Sky Pride, the points they would receive would be shocking. Now, I will call out the names and assign you to your fighting stages. Number 1 Fighting Stage, Martial Arts University, Yarrow Lin. Number 2 Fighting Stage. Number 3 Fighting Stage, Mu Yun. The Grand Sky Sect's Sect Master read out a list of names and assigned everyone to the 18 fighting stages. Those whose names were called would head to the corresponding fighting stage. Lu Ming was assigned to number 3 fighting stage. Soon, the assignment was completed. Lu Ming glanced around and knew what was going on. The 18 forces each had 16 people and they were assigned to 18 fighting stages. There were almost no repetitions. There would only be one person from the same force on each fighting stage. This was for fairness so that everyone could give it their all. Swish, swish. With a flash, a figure appeared on each of the fighting stages. These were the elders from the various factions, and they were here to act as judges. On the third platform was a green-haired middle-aged man. My name is Liu Feichuan, I'm the judge of the third platform. Next, I will arrange your battles. In this battle, there's only a winner and a loser, not a life and death battle. So if you feel that you can't win, it's best that you admit defeat as soon as possible. If you don't admit defeat and are killed or injured, you will have to bear the consequences. Liu Feichuan shouted. Understood. Lu Ming and the others replied. All right, the first match, Mu Yun, Zhong Fei, come up. Liu Feichuan shouted. I'm the first one? Lu Ming was slightly taken aback, but it didn't matter. In any case, he had to fight with the other 15 people. It didn't matter if it was morning or night. He stepped out and landed on the battle stage. On the other side, a burly young man also landed on the fighting ring. His name was Zhong Fei. Zhong Fei swept his gaze over Lu Ming, revealing a hint of contempt at the corners of his mouth. 5th level Divine Lord. I advise you to admit defeat, lest you look for a beating. Zhong Fei smiled casually as a powerful aura emanated from his body. 6th level Divine Lord, 1 level higher than Lu Ming. Although there was no lack of Heaven's Prides in this world who could jump levels to fight, he was a Heaven's Pride himself. Even if Lu Ming could jump levels, he couldn't surpass him. So when he saw that Lu Ming was only a 5th level Divine Lord, he was very relaxed. This sentence is what I want to say to you. If you admit defeat, You will be injured by me and affect the rest of the battle. Lu Ming said. You're quite stubborn. I wonder if your strength is as strong as yours. Take this. Zhong Fei shouted and stepped on the battle stage. His burly body rushed towards Lu Ming and threw a punch at Lu Ming. Wind God Kick. Lu Ming's mind stirred and he kicked out. There were at least dozens of leg-type secret arts fused in his feet. Once it was activated, it swept towards Zhong Fei like a whirlwind. The speed was shockingly fast. Attacking later but arriving first. Bang! Lu Ming kicked Zhong Fei in the face. Zhong Fei screamed and flew backward at a speed faster than when he pounced on Lu Ming. He flew out of the fighting ring directly and fell to the square below. He landed heavily on the ground and vomited blood. Stunned. Zhong Fei was completely dumbfounded. His head buzzed non-stop and his eyes turned white. The people on the third battle stage and some people who noticed this side were also somewhat stunned. They didn't expect that the outcome of the battle between the two was decided in an instant. Moreover, it was a 5th-level Divine Lord who won. Sect head Wang nodded his head. He wasn't surprised at Lu Ming's victory. And the sect that Zhong Fei was in had an expert snorting coldly. He took a few more glances at Lu Ming and was somewhat displeased. The Heaven's Pride on the third battle stage couldn't help sizing up Lu Ming. Some people's eyes were solemn, some had indifferent expressions, and some were disdainful. On the other battle stages, there were also a few people paying attention to this side. For example, Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the others. They hated Lu Ming to the extreme. On their side, before it was their turn to fight, they noticed that Lu Ming was fighting on the third battle stage. They naturally looked over, wanting to see how Lu Ming was suppressed. They never expected that Lu Ming would defeat his opponent in one move. He has some strength. No wonder he's so arrogant. But that's all. He's just a 5th-level Divine Lord after all. Han Feng snorted coldly in his heart. He was even more displeased when he didn't see Lu Ming being oppressed. Qi Ping also had the same feeling. There are a few people on the third battle stage who are very strong. Let's see how long this brat can be proud of himself. Qi Ping thought coldly in his heart. Mu Yun wins. Liu Feichuan also sized up Lu Ming a few more times before announcing Lu Ming's victory. Lu Ming left the battle stage, and Liu Feichuan announced the next group's battle. The competition continued. On the third battle stage, there was only one person who attracted Lu Ming's attention. Because this person's cultivation was even stronger, reaching the quasi-emperor realm. He was a Heaven's Pride from a powerful race and was invited by a force as external aid. He easily dealt with his opponent in one move. As for the remaining people, the highest was only a 9th-level Divine Lord. They didn't attract Lu Ming's interest. Soon, 18 people and 9 groups finished their matches. Mu Yun, Chong Hu, come on stage and fight. Liu Feichuan called out Lu Ming's name again. Lu Ming stepped onto the battle stage. At the same time, another youth also stepped onto the battle stage. This was a youth wearing wings. As soon as he stepped onto the stage, his body rapidly expanded and turned into his original form, a giant bird. No, it should be the primordial divine body. Chapter 3763. Chong Hu unleashed his primordial divine body and an ancient aura spread out. It was obvious that his primordial divine body was extremely powerful. 9th stage. Lu Ming sensed that Chong Hu's primordial divine body had already reached the 9th stage and he wasn't far from condensing the primordial divine blood. Of course, it wasn't that easy to take that step. It required talent and luck. Chong Hu's primordial divine body attracted many people's attention. What a powerful aura. 8th-level Divine Lord. 8th-level Divine Lord against a 5th-level Divine Lord. There's no suspense. That person seems to be the external aid that the Black Blood Hall invited. Many people were discussing. The people from the Black Blood Hall sneered. Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the others below the battle stage were also paying attention. Previously, Han Feng and another youth from the Sacred Heart race had obtained victory in the other battle stages. The 3 purple-eyed golden geese had also obtained victory. However, Qi Ping was unlucky to have encountered an expert and was defeated. Therefore, his expression was ugly. When he saw that Lu Ming had encountered an expert, he immediately sneered. Mu Yun is definitely going to admit defeat. I really hope that he doesn't. Qi Ping's eyes flickered with cold light. He really hoped that Lu Ming would be stupid and not admit defeat. Then, Chong Hu would kill him. Of course, he knew that it was impossible. Facing such an opponent, how could Lu Ming not admit defeat? Who among you wants to admit defeat? The referee, Liu Fei, glanced at Lu Ming as he spoke. In his opinion, the difference between Lu Ming and Chong Hu was too big. In the Divine Lord realm, the difference of 3 levels was like heaven and earth. Lu Ming couldn't possibly be Chong Hu's opponent. He thought that Lu Ming would admit defeat. However, Lu Ming shook his head. Chong Hu revealed a sinister smile. He was the external aide that the Black Blood Hall had paid a huge price to invite. He was paid to help them. The Black Blood Hall's Hall Master had told him that if he encountered someone from the Fengju sword sect during the competition, he shouldn't be merciful. He originally thought that Lu Ming would admit defeat, but he didn't expect that Lu Ming wouldn't admit defeat. That's even better. He would let Lu Ming know what regret was. He didn't admit defeat. Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the others were stunned. Qi Ping was overjoyed. Haha, this kid is really foolish. Facing an 8th level Divine Lord, he actually didn't admit defeat. Really courting death. Qi Ping nearly laughed out loud. As for Han Feng, he snorted coldly. He's regretted that he couldn't kill him. Initially, he wanted to kill Lu Ming personally after this matter was over. However, it seemed that Lu Ming was simply courting death. He didn't need, he himself. Liu Fei Chuan was also slightly surprised. However, he didn't say anything more. He said, since no one has admitted defeat, let's start the competition. Kill. Liu Fei Chuan's voice had just faded when Chuan Qi pounced towards Lu Ming. Chuan Qi transformed into the primordial divine body. He was a giant bird. Flapping his wings, he brought along a destructive gale as he pounced towards Lu Ming. His wings were like blades, pressing towards Lu Ming. The horrifying power wanted to smash Lu Ming into smithereens. Facing this attack, Lu Ming's expression was the same as usual. Chuan Qi's combat strength wasn't bad, but he was just a heaven's pride among 8th level divine lords. Actually, back then in the dragon race's mother planet, some of the various races' heaven's pride that Lu Ming encountered already cultivated the primordial divine body to the 9th stage. Some even successfully condensed the primordial divine blood. These top races' top heaven's prides were actually not weak. Therefore, Chuan Qi was just an ordinary heaven's pride in Lu Ming's eyes. Just as Chuan Qi's wings were about to hit Lu Ming made his move. Swoosh. His palm was like a blade, chopping out. Bang! Lu Ming's palm collided with Chuan Qi's wings, erupting with an intense rumble. Following that, feathers swirled in the air. Chuan Qi's massive body flew back, blood splattering everywhere. What? Anyone who was paying attention to this side could not help opening their eyes wide, revealing a look of disbelief. The one who was sent flying was actually not Lu Ming, but Chuan Qi. Furthermore, Chuan Qi retreated with injuries. A 5th level Divine Lord actually injured an 8th level Divine Lord Heaven's Pride in one move in a head-on battle. How was this possible? The Black Blood Hall's people were stunned. Han Feng, Qi Ping, and the rest were also stunned, unable to wrap their heads around the turn of events for a moment. Before everyone could react, Lu Ming dashed toward Chong Hu to kill him. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and punched out. A terrifying fist force pierced through the void, directly piercing through Chuan Qi's wings. Then, Lu Ming grabbed with a backhand, grabbing Chuan Qi's tail that rushed out, swinging him up and flinging him towards the ground. With an intense rumble, Chuan Qi was smashed heavily onto the ground. Unable to maintain his primordial divine body form, he turned into an ordinary giant bird, twitching non-stop. Although Chuan Qi did not die, he was seriously injured and on the verge of death. Many people who were watching this side were all in a daze. It ended just like that. He won just like that. A 5th level Divine Lord defeated an 8th level Divine Lord? Ha ha ha. Sect head Wang was long mentally prepared, so he was the first to react. He laughed loudly, looking in the direction of Black Blood Hall with a smug look. Only then did everyone react. Black Blood Hall's Hall Master and the other experts of Black Blood Hall had ugly expressions. How is this possible? Qi Ping, Han Feng, and the rest were dumbfounded, their eyes wide open. They had been mocking Lu Ming all along, looking down on Lu Ming. Especially Han Feng, a mere 5th level Divine Lord, he did not place him in his sights at all. Previously, he was still mocking Lu Ming non-stop. But Lu Ming used practical actions to viciously slap him a few times, making his expression extremely grim. Damn it! Han Feng shouted coldly in his heart, killing intent pervading in his heart. Lu Ming already became his must-kill target. Interesting. What powerful combat strength. At this moment, some of the top Heaven's Prides on the other battle stages also had their gazes drawn. After all, for a 5th level Divine Lord to be able to defeat an 8th level Divine Lord, it represented talent and combat strength. Although his cultivation was still low right now, once his cultivation rose up, it would be very terrifying. It already aroused their attention. This battle, Mu Yun wins. Liu Fei Chuan came to his senses and announced Lu Ming's victory. Just like this, Lu Ming obtained 2 consecutive victories. Lu Ming left the battle stage calmly, but it was different from before. Many people's gazes were sweeping over him. One could imagine that the next time he fought, he would attract even more gazes. After Lu Ming left the battle stage, his gaze was also sizing up the other battle stages. Each battle stage had extremely powerful Heaven's Prides on it. There was at least one quasi-emperor. Some battle stages even had more. These people's strengths were very powerful. When others encountered them, virtually all of them admitted defeat. The competition carried out one after another. Very soon, it was Lu Ming's turn to fight again. But the opponent this time was just a 6th level Divine Lord. The moment he saw Lu Ming, he directly admitted defeat. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,